And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Everybody who's traded has gone through periods of time where their strategy hasn't worked.
Where if not a hard stop, you should reevaluate the trades you're in based on time.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trading routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Market Recap. Monday, June 6th, the anniversary of D-Day. 1944, the Allies stormed the beaches of Normandy, and it's a huge day in history, and we remember all those that lost their lives that day, of course. If you were trading today, hopefully you had a decent trading day. There were some decent opportunities. It's always a challenge. It never seems to get easy. We just have to keep moving on. We just keep pushing forward, and sometimes it takes longer than others to find a groove and to get into the current market state. It's always a challenge, and we just have to keep on keeping on, I guess. It was a fine trading day for me. There was some opportunities that I found relatively early today, which I was kind of surprised about, especially in the equities, which were opening in range and value from Thursday's day trading, maybe a little bit out of the range from Friday's activity, but still in an area of potential repair. As far as the markets are concerned, crude, there was really no change in value today. Value area just got a lot smaller than it did on Friday. It seems to just be getting comfy, just under $120 a barrel. It's a lot of money. Even the S&P's heavy overnight inventory stalls potential reset of last week's high, which we were kind of looking at this morning as a potential hypothesis that might actually come true. But boy, we sure had a lot of overnight longs, and those overnight longs tried real hard to get the market to continue that upside move, and they just could not. So they capitulated, brought price back down to value. Not down to value, down to settlement. Natural gas, really the same as the S&P's short time frame overnight longs. Just bailed and took price right back down to settlement. Looks like we've got a small, I think we closed actually just slightly higher. As far as gold is concerned, just kind of a random downside walk while range remains. Even the euro, same situation as gold, just a down day, but no real change in value in the longer time frame. The 10-year yield really juiced to the upside this morning, back above 3%. So obviously prices of the 10-year continuing its push to the downside, as we would kind of be expecting. But when is really the kind of question that we have to ask ourselves. And that's gas, one time frame grind to the highest close since 2008. 2008. Net gas, all the energies, certainly feeling the squeeze, as are we. You know, I put gas in my car this weekend, and it's not a pleasant experience. So as always, hit the lucky like button, share, comment, question, feedback, heckling, and love are always appreciated. Here on the recap as well as the forecast, thank you to those of you who joined me for group coaching today. I hope that the information that I provided was helpful and concise. And we got Make Hogue Money tomorrow. I'm going to put the link in so you can register if you're not already registered. What's Make Hogue Money? Well, Make Hogue Money is right after the forecast tomorrow morning about 8:20. I'm going to open up the Zoom room, and we're going to look at the S&Ps. We're going to try and get some accurate context, and we are going to have you guys bring your trade ideas and have you make me money. Last week, we had a good day on Tuesday. I think we made about $1,400 on Tuesday, and Thursday we had one loss. I think we lost about $300. So last week we ended up about $1,100. The account is looking good. It's waiting for us tomorrow morning, and I hope you'll join me. As always, I'm looking for feedback and ideas on how to improve it. We're already working on some changes to do that. Hopefully, you're going to enjoy and like them. And but for tomorrow, it's business as usual. Don't forget, Thursday and Friday, no forecast, no recap, no coaching, no nothing. The entire company is all hands on deck to an event. Our support team will be severely limited as well. If you have issues, you're better off mailing in your issue, and please be patient with a response just for those couple of days. I know our support team is number one. They are the best, and we're going to do our best to take care of any issues while we are out of the office. As always, I got to say good afternoon, Tachyon. First in the room, you win the prize this afternoon. Chilling with Dylan. Frederico. Tachyon ended his day up 200 for the combine, was up 350 last time we checked. It's hard to know when to stop. It's always that one little question in the back of our minds that says, what if? What if the next trade's going to be the good one? Happy evening to you as well, James Swan, Scott Saw. Hopefully you conquered. After Friday's abysmal day, stayed smart and patient today, ended up with 1,500 in comp. Nice job. Nice job. Nice pullback. That's really, really nice. I'm sure you stayed calm. Nice job. Vince, hope everybody had a good day, and I hope you had a good day too. Charles, chilling with Dylan. Glitter Sandwich, my goodness, good afternoon. The Drum Lab, thanks for joining us. This week is the only one time Make Hogue Money. We're going to be doing that Tuesday because we're not going to be in the office on Thursday or Friday. Bill, goodness, I'm glad that you found the information useful and helpful. My goodness, I appreciate that. Dead letter opener. Yeah, nice, kind of slow day, right? It didn't seem like there was too much going on. Although some pretty decent opportunities. I thought, if you were working the overnight inventories in the equities, you maybe had a pretty decent day. Why don't we go ahead and take a look at the charts and see what we see. Let's start with crude oil this afternoon. So we know that the market is relatively strong. Not too great as far as volume is concerned. We did add 11,000 in open interest on Friday. Here's what we did today. Again, we got a little bit long, or maybe a little bit short as far as overnight inventory is concerned, but we opened right in the middle of value from yesterday. So we looked higher, we looked lower, and we spent 80% of the session today inside the value area from yesterday. So today's value area, very small, very even bell curve. This tells me we're probably building some energy for a move away from this area, and I can only hope that move would be to the downside. We really just kind of holding short time frame levels while we digest this area. Again, over Friday's value high resistant, another push up there, resistant, value low from Friday, the high from the day before, the high from the day before, just a lot of visual levels telling me that this is not necessarily longer time frame trade today. It's shorter time frame. We did not have a lot of economic information this morning. Tomorrow, we're looking for international trade in goods and services, which may or may not be somewhat impactful. Really, we're kind of hanging out waiting for jobless claims on Thursday and CPI on Friday. Here's our E-mini S&Ps. So really just kind of talking about the fact this morning that it looks like we're consolidating. We're in balance. We're digesting, indecision, whatever you want to call this. We're still in this range, and we are coming into rollover. Okay, so next week we're going to be rolling into the September contract. We should start to see volume falling off in the June contract as we get closer to that, and open interest is going to get blurry. So what did we do? Well, we opened with a gap. We tried real hard not to close that gap. We tried real hard to have all these overnight longs continue to get paid if we were going to push higher. Did not happen. Within an hour and a half, the market had put in its high, and we started to rotate lower, right back down to where? Settlement. Overnight inventory to the long side sometimes capitulate and bring price right back down to settlement. This is if I had to pick a day where I would use a day to use for an example of an overnight inventory adjustment, it would be today. It would be today. NASDAQ, same situation. We're still in range, kind of bordering along the lower end of that, but overnight inventory to the long side and a move back down to settlement. Classic overnight inventory move. All right. Gold. I did not do anything in gold. We're still largely range bound. Here's the 30. Now, the opening range ended up being the high of the session today, which I kind of see as a little bit unusual because we opened right in the middle of value from yesterday. So that has us thinking about potentially looking for a repair day, which I guess in a way we did. The 7 o'clock bar traded to basically our high volume node, or relatively close to it up high here. And after the open, we traded to the high volume node at near the low here, which is in essence the point of control. So just a continuation to the downside. Did we have some overnight longs from last night? Maybe just a little bit. I'm not considering this an overnight inventory. I think this market just looked weak and went weak. Boy, this is quite the dead cat bounce on the low here. Euro, very similar to gold, still range bound. The day really kind of went very similar to S&P to gold. We had no overnight inventory. Hi, Lacey. Lacey says hello, everybody. We had no overnight inventory. And the market opened centrally located in yesterday or Friday's value area and then continued to push lower. Our 10-year, September. So we were kind of looking at this as a potential support level from last week's low. We had the yield was just under 3% this morning. As soon as this market headed above that 3% level, this market just barreled through last week's low and one time frame lower with another dead cat bounce at the low here. We know rates are going higher. It's just the timing of everything in the 10-year. And so this structure to the upside here, really, I mean, it's still holding, still providing opportunity. Look at the volume on this push to the upside today. We didn't have a big change in open interest on Friday, but we're going to have a big change in open interest tomorrow. I'm looking at a potential large addition to open interest on higher volume. We haven't closed this high since 2008. We left our pin bars up here. The sellers that were protecting this area were unable to do so today. Here's what it looked like on the 30-minute chart. So we have a weekend chart, weekend gap, still a gap in the regular trading hours. This market finds some resistance at weekly kickoff high, finally breaks out, and we get some really organized one-time framing activity at the high here. This is just higher lows, higher lows, higher highs, higher highs. This is a really strong market, ladies and gentlemen. Now, anything can change, but I don't think I'd want to be short tonight. Now, that said, this market's likely to make a liar out of me. Kyle, yes, gold does actually move sometimes. It just hasn't been providing the good opportunities that it has in the past. And all markets are like that. I think all markets are kind of cyclical. They get into a situation, even if it's range bound, where we get good levels and good cheap areas with which to look for opportunities. I think gold is just in a funk right now, and it will change. There will be opportunity there, and if I can see it, I'll be telling you what I see. Yeah, it gets there eventually when the environment requires it, sure. Dead letter opener, Lacey, dead letter opener says woof. Rose Von Bird, today was a good day with the ES. Good, I'm glad you had a good day. Dead letter opener, bass, pigs get slaughtered. Drum lab, do you play the guitar? I do play the guitar a little bit. I've also played the drums since I was in first grade, but it's been about a decade since I sat down and started tapping on the kit. I've played a lot more guitar lately than I have the drums. Why did the Dow tank after 1 a.m.? Because we had a lot of overnight longs. Short time frame overnight longs were not able to entice longer time frame buyers into the marketplace, and they decided they were going to get out. So just the same thing as in the S&Ps and in the NASDAQ, we got some shorter time frame longs overnight that just did not find what they were looking for and decided to bail out. And when that happens, they bail out all at once. I think Jim Dalton says it best. When you've got an overnight inventory that's, let's say, for example, too long, it's like being at a party, and it's a really good party, but everybody's well aware that there could be a fire. And if there's one thing we know, when that's the situation, everybody's enjoying the party, nobody wants to leave, but they're going to hang around the door. And as soon as somebody runs towards the door or yells fire, everybody tries to jump out the door. It's kind of what happens when there's an overnight inventory adjustment, similar to, I guess, to what happened in the S&Ps, the NASDAQ, and in the Dow, and in the Russell today. So when the short time frame traders are the ones that need to adjust their inventory, they're doing it quickly. So Dan's saying there's a lot of people blowing up in small range, indicative of too much leverage. We've all been there and done that. Sure, Lucas. We've all been there and done that. So better to stay small and live to trade for tomorrow than try and knock it out of the park on a quiet or rangy day. All right. So as we know, that to this day in history, this is the day of D-Day. And if you ever seen Saving Private Ryan, and I can only imagine how much worse it was than that, a lot of brave men stood up and gave a lot for our freedom. There was also much less important 1971. Today was the last airing of the Ed Sullivan Show, and unfortunately in 1998, this was the premiere of Sex in the City. As far as music is concerned, 1962, on this day, the Beatles recorded 4 tracks, one of which was Love Me Do, and the musicians were paid for the sessions, and they earned $12.07 each, £7.10, but about $12. The Rolling Stones released I Can't Get No Satisfaction today in the U.S., went on to give the band their first #1 hit. I don't know if you guys know who Steve Vai is, but today's Steve Vai's birthday. Quite the guitarist. He's worked with pretty much everybody, including Frank Zappa, David Lee Roth, Whitesnake, Spinal Tap, and Ozzy Osbourne. He was... You remember that Ralph Macchio movie where he was a guitarist and there was like the devil that was the guitarist? That was Steve Vai. In 1987, Whitney Houston scored her second #1 single with I Want to Dance with Somebody. If you don't know that song, 2005, John Bonham from Led Zeppelin was voted the #1 in Classic Rock Magazine's 50 Greatest Drummers in Rock. I would agree with that, I think. I would agree with that. I did not know this. In 2017, the site of the 1969 Woodstock Music Festival was officially recognized for its place in history when Democratic Governor Andrew Cuomo announced that Bethel Woods Center for the Arts had been placed on the National Register of Historic Places. Cool. David, if you go to the website, let me make sure. If you go to the website and go to the bottom of the front page, under careers, it says current openings. There are currently 6 openings at Top Step. We're looking for engineers. We're looking for support reps, an affiliate manager. Check that out. Time to investigate more caffeine. Kieran, any good resources to learn to play the range? Well, if I were to pick one, and this would be for me, of course, it would be the market profile, because the market profile provides short time frame levels that quite often get respected, especially in range trade, because range trade I view as more of a shorter time frame control than a longer time frame control. The Ocean on drums. Gone far already, but now we're steady, and then they went. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bam, bam, bam. Did that in a lot of bands. It's a great song. And yes, he is the king. All right. Saw Steve Vai and Joe Satriani at Summerfest like 20 years ago. I bet it had to be a heck of a show. All right. All right. I'm going to call this a recap. Thank you all for joining. You see you tomorrow morning again, 7:45 for the forecast, and then make home money right after that. So, blessings to you. Say a prayer for peace. Be good to yourself. Be kind to others. And I'll see you in the morning. Be good now.